You traveled here from Orillia. Mm-hmm. Are you satisfied with what you heard today from Boeing CEO?
No.
We didn't necessarily come here to get any satisfaction or any closure or any new information. We came because we wanted to be here to see Mr. Muilenburg while he testifies. So it'd be great to get some different answers, but that will come. Just being here was what was important for us.
And to connect with the other families as well.
Right.
Stay solid as a team.
I was going to ask you that. How important is it to meet the other families?
Oh, exceptionally important. Almost everywhere we go. We went to Ethiopia last week. Everybody's trying to say, "Oh, we're here. Is there anyone else here in Ethiopia? Can we meet up?" You know, and same. We've met some new people this week, and we've seen some people we haven't seen in a while since the last time we've been to Washington, and since we've been to Ethiopia as well. Yeah.
Other than our families, nobody else can really feel what we feel. So when we're together, we can share stories. We don't have to feel it's inappropriate to talk about. It's not inappropriate to cry or to be angry because we all share those feelings. It brings comfort to see these people that I have just recently met over the last few weeks. It's important for us to stay together and stick together.
We haven't been intimate friends, but we are intimate friends at the same time.
What is it you'd like Boeing's CEO to understand about what you've lost and who you've lost?
I think he needs to understand that. I think the biggest tragedy for me, and I fell apart a little bit in there, was just realizing over and over again that this was preventable. You know, this crash was preventable. There was warning signs, you know, at least as far back as 2016. There was things that could have been changed or stopped, and it didn't happen. And we're not sure why it didn't happen. You know, when we left the room, we stayed for the JATA report and the NTSB, and you know, it's reiterated over and over and over again that there are things that people knew.
How about for yourself?
For myself, it's just evident that it's profit over safety. As Joan said, you know, since 2016, they have had some indication that there are problems, and they evaluated the problem to be at a low risk, that the percentages didn't require any additional safety measures. So I expect that to change. I expect that the MCAS, what I expect is someone to fly the plane without MCAS. That's what I would like to see. Because nobody has expressed to me if the MCAS as a system means it's a maneuvering handling system, or a safety system to prevent stall. So if it is a version of a 737 of a previous type and the MCAS isn't there, then they should be able to fly the plane without it. Mm-hmm. So we need to know what it's for.
Will you be among the families that are meeting with Mr. Muilenburg over the next few days?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I ask, what do you plan to say to him? What do you plan to tell him about your daughter?
I don't know yet.
We all, when we go to these meetings, not like the hearings, but other meetings, we share a story. Sometimes it's a little bit different, our story. I like to share the fact that my daughter was 24 years old, and she was joyful and fun-loving and courageous, and she had no fear of flying. And she had to fly to do some of the things that she needed to do. She had to fly to go to Nairobi to the UN conference and be a youth delegate. And she had to fly from East Coast to West Coast for a job, or back and forth from school. And it's a real tragedy that, you know, we should have had some fear of flying and questioned it.
Yeah. I know we have jointly decided that there are specific questions that we're going to ask, but I have to revisit those just to be accurate.
Well, we didn't get an answer today about the lines of authority for certification. It was repeated over and over. It was asked over and over again, but there seems to be some resistance in, relinquishing their authority to certify to the FAA. That's what I heard today, and it was never a direct answer. Senators kept asking it over and over again. So that line of authority is important. And the MCAS, what's the fix? He discussed a few fixes today, but ultimately, I think he said it was a handling system, which brings on a whole different thing, as Roland said. Well, if the handling system is taking the plane down, why do we have it? I
We
don't know.
also referenced it as safety at one point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interchangeable depending on the situation, it seems.